Chapter 106. The plan comes to a close. Summary. The gang is finally back together again. The building is cleared and it's time to get these people on their way so they can get going themselves. Quiet chatter flits about as Izuku and the others finally reach the hangar. A few dozen sentients are huddled in groups, small in the cavernous space they're held. Oh, Chuck, no, the mission wasn't done yet. They were still working. Uravity and Pinky stood just outside the subdued group, ready to defend their charges at the first hint of danger. Some tension seemed to fall out of Uravity's watchful stance when she noticed their group's arrival. "Hey, over here," she called. The four of them settled around the other two, Izuku taking in the pair for any injuries and relaxing when he found nothing of worry. "Everything taken care of?" Dynamite nodded.
"Everyone in the building is subdued, and the doors are locked. All that's left is the final sweep outside. A few slipped into the halls when we were taking out the last group, but we didn't find them in our last walkthrough, so there's at least a few hiding out in the forest," Izuku relayed, trying not to let it bother him. He's not sure why it left him feeling restless, like the hunt was unfinished. "That's good," Pinky hummed. She tilted her head slightly towards the huddled sentients. "They're starting to get a little restless. The Slug Queens placated them for a while, but I think they're still unsure if we're really going to help them. They didn't take us being human very well." "Telling them the plan might help them calm down then," Chargebolt said.
That was probably their best course of action now. Being left in the dark about what was happening would only make the group more anxious, and more anxious civilians was never a good thing in a raid.
"Excuse me,"
Izuku called to the group, just a little ways in front of him. He waited for their whispers and uneasy shuffling to die down before he continued.
"My name is Deku. I'm sure Pinky and Uravity already told you, but we're here to help. The building has been secured and all the Trellin inside have been locked in rooms where the Galactic Alliance can pick them up later. While we still have to take care of any that aren't inside of the building, after that our forces will be helping you all get home. It's up to you whether or not you want that to be with the GA or you want to take the ship on the roof and make your own way back. We won't question or judge whatever choice you make. We just want to make sure you can get home safe." No one spoke as his final words echoed off the high ceilings, staring at him apprehensively, even if it was less so than before. Izuku turned from the group and back to his friends, whispered conversations picking up when his attention was no longer on them. "Nice speech, Deku," Uravity beamed. Yeah.
Dynamite brushed off.
"Can we get back to picking off the stragglers now?"
Pinky patted Dynamite's shoulder. "Soon. I think we should talk to the fish aliens first. They're from that planet with the good drugs. I think they'd like to hear that their pod misses them." No one had any arguments there, though Dynamite did grumble a little as they made their way over to the group of aquatic sentients. The three eyed them warily, one with fins the texture of kelp, shifting nervously on their feet, another with eyes the shade of lily pads, scanning the group with thoughtful eyes. The last one's sharp teeth peeked out from their lips as they scowled. "Hi, Uravity began, uncertainty tinging her voice as she trailed off. "We wanted to say we're glad we found you here. Your pod really misses you." Immediately, the sharp-toothed one bristles, fins flaring. "How would you know that?" Uravity takes half a step back, blinking at the sudden hostility. Pinky puts a hand on her shoulder as she steps forward. "We actually stopped on your planet to stretch our legs not too long ago. While we were there, your pod attacked us and arrested us because they thought we were traffickers. After we cleared things up, they told us about you three." Her voice is calm and placating, but the hostile sentient just scoffs unkindly. "You should have known better than to land on a planet not registered as free access. What did you think would happen?" The term sounds familiar, like something he should remember from their lessons with the guild, but Izuku can't quite remember what the term is about. It seems he's not the only one, as Chargebolt asks, "Free access?" Nose scrunching in confusion. The look the sentient levels him with is clear. It screams, "Are you an idiot, or are you just dumb?" Indignant frustration bubbles in Izuku's gut as they start speaking slower, condescension clear. Free access? Freeport planets? Chargebolt withers under the judgmental stare. Without thinking about it, Izuku steps half in front of the blonde.
"I'm sorry. We didn't know about that at the time,"
Izuku says acridly.
"Before we were abducted, our planet was unaware we weren't alone in the universe. We've had to learn everything, including basic, while doing our best to survive in a place unknown to us that isn't built for our species."
Izuku takes a step towards the shrinking back sentient.
"And doing all of that while we're not adults and have very little experience being completely alone and without support. We're bound to make mistakes."
All aggression seems to have been drained from the sharp-toothed sentient, their eyes firmly trained on the ground in front of them. Something that feels an awful lot like shame hangs in the air around them, while their companions just look sad. "Well," Pinky says, breaking the tense silence. "Safe travels. We should finish up here." She doesn't give the trio another look as she hooks her arms in Izuku's and Chargebolt's and leads the group towards the hangar doors. She's right. The job's not done just yet. Pinky and Aravati decide to keep watch over the group of sentients, while Mei and her tech disciples, plus Explodey, cleared the forest. Her biorhythm scanner baby thunked down on the freshly welded ventilation grate. The night air was warming slightly, the faintest hints of indigo beginning to trace the pitch night sky. Up here, her baby should be able to pick up all the electrochemical signaling that carbon-based life forms' brains give off. Both sentient life and animals rely heavily on electrical signals to function, but the energy needed to facilitate intelligent thoughts gives off a much stronger signal than simple animals. Most of the time, that is. With how vast the universe is, there's bound to be some exceptions. Mei just hasn't found them yet. Deku pressed a panel on the ovular machine, causing it to stop sitting flush with the matte metal and releasing the wires inside. He swiftly plugged them into the laptop Chargebolt had fished from her bag, booting up the program and letting them decipher the incoming information. As soon as it had been fully plugged in, the machine glowed a soft gold across its seams before unfurling. Chargebolt trailed, staring at the visual information in front of him. Mei settled an elbow on the boy's head to get a better look at what had left him blinking owlishly. And she saw what he was confused about.
"What the fuck does that mean, Sparky?"
Dynamite questioned, hands clenching into clawed fists. Chargebolt opened a window to the side of the screen and quickly shifted through his code, checking that everything was as it should be. Mei could see nothing was out of place, even before he took a second pass at it. She wasn't sure what could cause a result like this herself, but by the look in his eyes, Deku seemed to have an idea.
"It means,"
the greenette hesitantly started,
"that instead of showing a few glowing blips that would be hiding sentience, the whole forest is lit up like it's alive. In the shit-your-pants monster kind of way, or the space is fucking weird way."
Deku glanced towards the tangle of trees, still glowing with bioluminescent spots.
"I'm pretty sure it's a space is weird way. Normally, bioluminescence occurs from a chemical reaction generating light, but there's a chance it could be an electrochemical one. Flora use electrochemical signals differently than fauna, but it's still present, and if it's using increased signals to power its glowing, then all those plants together might produce as much energy as a sentient brain." "So the plants are basically giving off so much signal that the machine can't pick up on the aliens around it?"
Dynamite asks with a frustrated grimace.
"Basically,"
Deku confirms.
"Meaning we can't see where who knows how many Trellin are hiding in the forest." "Exactly,"
Deku agrees with a matching grimace. It seems that Dynamite has only one thing to say about that.
"Fuck."